Hi, I'm Jilly G. Welcome to my kitchen. Today I'm going to show you how to make my version of egg roll in a bowl. This is a very popular recipe, and I think just about everybody has their favorite ingredients that they like to put in theirs. So this is my version. I've got some green cabbage, purple cabbage, I've got a really big chunk of ginger, green onions, about 5 cloves of garlic, carrots and celery, and an orange pepper. And I should have gotten a red pepper instead of orange or yellow. Then it would have gone a little nicer for colors into my egg roll in a bowl. But this is one of those recipes where make it your own. Put whatever you like in there. And then I do have the ingredients kind of for my sauce. And then I've got 1 pound of ground beef in kind of my high-sided skillet. This could also be used with sausage or ground pork or ground turkey. So many possibilities with this recipe, or no meat at all. So the first thing I'm going to get cut up is my cabbage. And I like it to be not as fine as a coleslaw would be, although you could skip all of this and buy a package of pre-made coleslaw. And the longest part of this recipe is doing all of your prep work. And then once I've got it all sliced, I'll kind of go twice, maybe 3 times, just so it isn't really big chunks of cabbage. And then if you find some bigger pieces in there, you can just cut those up. You don't have to use red and green cabbage, but I really like the different colors. And this was about 1/4 of a small red cabbage, and then, a little bit bigger of 1/4 of a green cabbage. And I like to put everything in a big bowl. That way I can kind of mix it all around before it goes into my skillet. And I'm kind of thinking my skillet might not be big enough. We'll see. So now for my green onions. Some of these will be used for garnish and some we're going to cook in there. Cut off any questionable parts. And then I do have my compost bucket down there. And then the whites of my green onions will go in with my cabbage. And then the greens of my green onions will go in this little dish for a garnish. So green onions in there. I love dinners like this where they really come together so fast. It's like any kind of recipe like this where the longest part is your prep work, but you really want it to be done because once you start cooking, you don't really have time to come back and keep chopping. So I've mentioned so many times before, whenever ginger is on sale or it's in season, I'll buy it and I'll cut it up and I'll freeze it in big chunks like this for recipes like this. This one is still kind of frozen, which is okay. It's easier to chop. And I think I'm going to chop half of it and see how much I've got. And don't worry if you don't have any fresh ginger. You can use powdered ginger. I think they actually make ginger that's in a paste that you can get, or you can get it, it's a loud helicopter, or you can get it in a jar where it's already minced up. So a pretty fine mince on my ginger. And then it will just go in there with the rest of it. And I think that's enough ginger. I'm gonna hurry and put this one back in the freezer before it thaws all the way. And just like so many of my recipes, if you like more garlic, add more in. If you like less, leave it out. Okay, pretty fine mince on the garlic as well. You could even use a spicy pepper. I might just use half of my pepper. And then just cut these in as big or as little of pieces as you like. There we go. That was about half of my orange pepper. I'll save the other half for something else. And And then I've got 3 stalks of celery here. And then I like to go on a diagonal. That way they get really thin and they kind of look fancier. Okay, there is all of my celery. I've got 2 carrots here. And I have this little peeler. And what it does is it makes matchstick carrots. You could grate your carrots or just thinly slice them, but this is such a handy little tool. Now, one thing about it, it's very sharp, so be careful. But I've noticed when you use it, turn your carrot. If you just do one side, then the other side doesn't get turned into the matchsticks. And even that one, that's a little big and chunky. So then we can just cut it with our knife. There we go. And if these are too long, you just start further down your carrot. Or you can just cut them like that. There we go. Carrots in there, and we are done with the prep work. And that really didn't take very long at all. Now I'm just going to get in here with my hands, toss everything together. That way it's already kind of mixed up, because I think my frying pan's going to be really full. And while I'm stirring that together, I'm going to turn my skillet on, about medium high. Once my ground beef looks like this, where it's almost done, it's got some nice color on it, but it's still a little pink on the inside, I'm going to throw in my vegetables. And I'm really hoping all of these vegetables will fit in this pan. I think they will. Switch to a bigger frying pan or skillet. There we go. And I'm going to switch to tongs instead of my spatula. This way I can really get everything stirred around. I've got 2 tablespoons of Braggs Amino acids. This is what I like to use in place of soy sauce. And then I've got about a half a teaspoon or so of pepper. I'm not using any salt because my Braggs Aminos are really salty. And then I've got 1 teaspoon of hot sauce. And this is to taste. If you like extra spicy, do that. And then I've got 1 tablespoon of rice vinegar. Give everything a really good stir. We want these vegetables to get sauteed a little bit as well. If you're using a leaner meat and you find that your pan is a little bit too dry, you can add in some olive oil or whatever oil you like to help fry your meat and your vegetables. And I've gone back to the spatula. And then I'm going to put the lid on. That will help soften and steam my vegetables at the same time. Now at this point, my vegetables are starting to soften. I do want to taste it and see if my seasonings are enough. And I'm going to go a little bit more of everything besides pepper. I'm going to go a little more liquid aminos, a little more vinegar, and a little more sriracha. You can always add more at the table. Okay, let's give it another taste with a clean fork. That is perfect. Take it off the heat. That way it doesn't sizzle so loud when I'm trying to talk to you. And if you guys could smell this, this smells amazing. Nothing fancy at all. And it comes together so fast. Now for a little sprinkle of green onions. You could sprinkle on some sesame seeds if you want to, but this is just how I like it. It's really hot. And I just tasted it, but I'm going to taste it again. Trying to get a little bit of everything in here. It really is so good. And that hot sauce, it gives it just the right amount of heat. And the vinegar, it really helps to just brighten everything up. And you don't have to use hot sauce. You could use red pepper flakes if you wanted to. And you know, my vegetables, they're cooked perfect. They're soft, but they still have a little bit of bite to them, even my celery. And this is the perfect amount of ginger and garlic in here. It adds so much delicious flavor. And even though my orange pepper is the same color as my carrots, it still is a really nice, colorful dish. Such a fast, easy weeknight dinner. Such a delicious lunch the next day. And it has so many vegetables in here. I always love to have a meal where you can get a lot of vegetables in. So again, make it your own. Use whatever meat you like. Use whatever vegetables you like. Use the amount of soy sauce, in my case aminos, vinegar, hot sauce. Use your favorite amount. But this is my favorite way to make and eat this. Let me know what you think if you make this recipe. But thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already. If you have any questions or comments, let me know, and I'll see you on the next one.